All right, so this is day one of geometry. For the first few days of geometry, we're going to pretty much be looking at the definition of the vocabulary words. So when it comes to this video, you're not really going to see too much, well, you're not going to see me at all, but you're not going to see me do much work. You're pretty much just going to hear me read what's on the screen and then give my own interpretation. So this is pretty much pay attention to what I am saying. So we're going to deal with definition of angles for today. So day one, definition of angles. So we're going to start off with a point. A point is an exact position or location on a plane or in space that has no size and dimension. It is usually represented by a dot and named by a capital letter. So we have a dot. A is the name of this dot or point. A line is a collection of points along a path that extends indefinitely in both directions. It has no thickness and no height. Sorry, it has. So here you see a line. You'll see an arrow going this way and an arrow going that way to let you know that it never ends. So pause the video if you still need to copy it down. You're not going to copy down the definitions word by word, but just a basic idea of what a point is and what a line is. And moving forward, it's the same thing with all the other vocabulary words. So a ray is different than a line. A ray is a line with one endpoint and extends indefinitely in one direction. So you have a point and you have an arrow on the other side. So a ray would be a point on one end and an arrow on the other. The point can be on the other side with the arrow going this way. It doesn't matter, as long as you have one point and an arrow on the opposite side. A ray is named starting with the end point, like here on Q, and another point on the ray, like R right here. The end point is written first, then any other point on the ray is written next. This is shown below. So starts with Q, ends with R, and to show that it's a ray, we're going to draw kind of a ray without the little points. So it's a line with an arrow on one side. For a line, it's the same thing, only you'll just have the arrow on a line on the top. So here's a couple of examples. So the figure below represents line AB, written as AB, with a line on the top with two arrows on either side. So AB, A goes first because it's on the left-hand side, then it's B. For example 2, the figure below represents a ray of AB, written as AB. So A has a dot, B is next with the arrow at the end. Pause if you needed to. Angles and parts of an angle. When two rays diverge from a common point or meet at the same endpoint, the space, which is an amount of turn between them, is called an angle. Basically, you have two rays, one right here, another down here. The space in between it is called an angle. The endpoint, the point where they both meet, is called a vertex. And then you have your two rays. So you can consider the rays as arms. Sorry about switching it for a second. So we have a ray, an endpoint to an arrow, an endpoint to an arrow, and the space in between is called an angle. The common endpoint intersects points or starting points of two or more rays or lines is called a vertex. So that endpoint where they both rays meet is called a vertex. All right, so we have ray AB, ray AC, and the vertex would be A. All right. Vertex Q is formed when ray PQ and RQ meet at a common endpoint. So PQ and RQ meet at the vertex Q. This is just an example. Naming angles. Angles are named based on the vertices and the rays, also called arms of the angle. The following are ways of naming them. Number 1, use of 3 capital letters. When an angle is marked by 3 points, we first name one point, then the vertex, and then finally the other point, in that order. This method is also known as a point, vertex, point method, due to the order followed. So point, vertex, point method is when you have a point and a vertex and another point. So for instance, with this one, this is the angle A, B, C, or C, B, A, using the point, vertex, point method. Note that the vertex is in the center for both ABC and CBA. We can replace the word angle with a symbol like this, kind of like a small, like the mouth of a Pac-Man. Therefore, we can name them like this: angle ABC or angle CBA. So that's the point, vertex, point method. Use of the vertex. In unambiguous cases, angles can also be named using the vertex only where? I wrote that wrong. Sorry. This method is also called the vertex method of naming. So instead of going KLM or MLK, we're just going to name the angle L because that's the only angle we have. So we call it angle L. Use of a number or a symbol at the vertex. So sometimes when we don't want to give out numbers, we'll use like a symbol. So we have this symbol here, we have this symbol here. So if we're talking about this symbol, we would have angle that. And I forget what they have names. I just can't remember what the names are. I think this is omega. I can't remember. But we give them names. It could be a smiley face. It could be a pi sign. It doesn't matter what they're named, as long as you know that this angle goes with this symbol and this angle goes with that symbol. The reason why there's 2 lines versus 1 is that it's saying that this line, this angle, is different than this angle. Just so that you know. That's for a later lesson. I apologize, guys. I clicked on something and it did it wrong. All right, so measuring angles. In geometry, angles are commonly measured using 2 units, degrees or radians. We're not going to really deal with radians this time. We're only going to be dealing with degrees. The degree is given the symbol, like this little circle thing. Please do not circle it in or color it in. It needs to be open, and I can't have it too big because then I'm going to think that it's a 0. So please keep it, small like an exponent. So 90 degrees would be written as 90 with this little circle. A full rotation would also be considered like 360 with that little circle as 4 degrees. Basic type of angles. So the following are going to be different types of angles that we see. So an acute angle is going to be less than 90. So angle EFG is an acute angle because it's less than 90. Angle P, just a vertex, angle P is an acute angle because it's also less than 90. Right angles are exactly 90 degrees. You also have this symbol of a box in where the vertex is. So L would have this little box representing that it is 90 degrees. So angle KLM is considered a right angle. An obtuse angle is going to be greater than 90 degrees, but less than 180. So this one has a representation of a symbol. So this symbol angle is an obtuse because it's greater than 90 degrees. A straight line is going to be exactly 180 degrees, so you guys kind of understand that. You see this little hump right here? That's letting me know that I'm talking about this angle. This angle is a straight line, so it's going to have 180 degrees. So PQR is a straight angle. A reflex angle is talking about the angle outside of what we normally talk about. We normally talk about this inside angle. Right now, we are talking about the outside. So the reflex is the outside angle. It's normally greater than 180, but less than 360. So the angle on the outside is a reflex angle, and we're talking about JKL on the outside. That's the reason why the hump is on the outside. A round circle is normally represented by this line, and then the hump goes all the way around into a full circle. So it's normally going to be 360 degrees, and it's called a full circle or a full angle. So angle A is a round angle because it does an incomplete circle. So we're going to watch a couple of videos.
Does this line actually go on forever? In this lesson, you will learn that the definition of a term and its representation are distinct by comparing definitions and drawings. Let's review. We use specific notation and drawings to represent vocabulary. If we want to draw a point, we draw a dot on the page and we label it, usually with a capital letter. This is point A. When we write it, we either use just capital A or we write out point A. If we want to draw a line, first we would need a second point to